Most people think Alaska is empty because it's remote. That assumption is wrong. Alaska is empty because it refuses to cooperate. This land doesn't bend easily to human plans. And once you understand why, everything that follows starts to feel less like geography and more like a system drawing a line. When you look at Alaska on paper, the numbers already feel unreal. More than 1.7 million square kilometers of land, yet fewer than 1 million residents. Spread evenly, each person would command more land than entire neighborhoods elsewhere in the United States. But Alaska isn't empty because it's distant. It's empty because it resists. Much of the ground is permanently frozen. Mountains rise faster than infrastructure can adapt. Rivers change course without warning. Roads crack, tilt, and vanish. This is why more than 80% of communities here have no road access at all. Not because no one tried, but because the land decided otherwise. That single fact reshapes daily life. Instead of highways, people rely on aircraft. Planes land on frozen rivers, gravel bars, and beaches when tides retreat. Supplies, medicine, even mail, arrive by air. Flying isn't optional. Here it's routine survival. Infrastructure didn't fail, it reached a boundary. And beneath all of this lies something deeper. Alaska rests on one of the most active tectonic zones on Earth. The ground itself moves. When it does, it doesn't ask permission. In moments like this, Alaska doesn't rebuild the way other places do. It adapts. Quietly. Permanently. This isn't chaos. It's a system responding to pressure. And once you realize the land itself is unstable, the next question becomes unavoidable. How does life survive here at all? Few places on Earth experience winter and summer as if they belong to different planets. Alaska doesn't, sometimes within the same year. In some interior regions, winter temperatures drop below -50 degrees Celsius. Months later, summer pushes past 30 degrees Celsius. These aren't gradual changes, they're violent swings. Imagine trying to plan a normal life when the rules of day and night collapse. Most systems break under that stress. Yet here, glaciers grow and shrink at the same time. Some advance rapidly, others retreat just as fast. To outsiders, it looks contradictory. In reality, it's physics responding to extremes. Light behaves differently too. In the north, the sun refuses to set for weeks. In winter, darkness stretches just as long. Instead of resisting this, people restructure life around it. Midnight sports under natural light. Winter gatherings designed to fight isolation. Routines shaped not by clocks, but by survival psychology. The boundary isn't just physical, it's mental. Wildlife reveals this pattern even more clearly. Alaska hosts one of the largest concentrations of large mammals in North America. Bears, moose, caribou, moving with precision that hasn't changed for centuries. Caribou migrations trace ancient arcs across tundra. Salmon return to the same rivers with timing so accurate it still challenges scientific modeling. These behaviors aren't chaotic, they're optimized. Systems without interference remember their rules. And this predictability sets the stage for something even more revealing. Places where the land itself is still rearranging in real time. Because there are locations here where you don't just see change, you hear it happening. There are places in Alaska that didn't exist a few centuries ago, and others that won't exist a few centuries from now. Glacier Bay is one of them. Ice once filled this entire region, stretching more than 100 kilometers. Then it withdrew, carving fjords and cliffs at a pace rarely seen at this scale. Landscapes don't usually move this fast. Stand long enough and the sound becomes impossible to ignore. When ice calves, the crack echoes 4 kilometers. If this collapse happened at the wrong moment, survival wouldn't be optional. Farther inland, Vast icefields feed dozens of glaciers that behave like frozen rivers. Beneath them, meltwater tunnels carve ice caves that collapse and reform unpredictably. These caves aren't attractions. They're warnings. What's forming beneath the ice today may vanish tomorrow. Even the ground records time openly. Bare rock near the ice. Shrubs farther out. Young forests beyond that. A visible timeline of retreat and recovery etched into the landscape itself. But this evolving system doesn't exist in isolation. Human history layers itself into the terrain, creating boundaries that aren't always visible, but are deeply felt. And when cultures collide with unstable land, the boundary becomes cultural as well as physical. Some places don't erase history, they stack it. Coastal towns here reflect layers of indigenous life, foreign expansion, and modern settlement pressed together by geography. Totem poles stand near structures built by outsiders who never fully understood the land they claimed. Culture adapts or disappears. On the outer coast, weather systems arrive with little warning. Rainfall, measured in meters, shapes rainforest where few expect it. Forests grow dense because moisture never leaves. Just beyond, sheer granite walls rise above narrow inlets. Waterfalls spill from heights that feel incompatible with proximity to civilization. Then history accelerates. During the gold rush, settlements exploded into existence almost overnight. Trails carved into mountains filtered ambition through exhaustion. Many of these systems survived. Many others quietly failed. Engineering feats clung to cliffs. Rail lines bent around impossible terrain. Even today, whether or not technology determines access. Further along the coast, heavy snowfall triggers avalanches that sculpt valleys annually. Glaciers retreat fast enough to alter navigation routes. Yet industry persists beside wilderness. This is coexistence under pressure. But the clearest boundary appears where wilderness presses directly against human settlement. In some cities, wildlife is a memory. Here, it's a neighbor. Large mammals move through residential areas without hesitation. Whales surface offshore. Birds perch on infrastructure as if it belongs to them. Urban planning stops where instinct begins. In Alaska, civilization adjusts not the other way around. These cities survive by respecting boundaries rather than denying them. Earthquake-resistant designs. Infrastructure built with failure in mind. Logistics hubs positioned for global flow. Farther inland, small towns become gateways to extreme environments. Pilots treat weather forecasts as lifelines. Rivers braid into shifting geometric patterns visible from the air. Order emerges, even in chaos. Beyond lies terrain so vast that a single road feels intentional, not incomplete. Wildlife moves uninterrupted. Migration paths remain intact. And then, at certain narrow points, the system reveals itself completely. Because there is one place where survival organizes itself without instruction. At a single river, nature enforces rules more strictly than any law. Every year, salmon return with timing so precise researchers can predict their arrival within days. The geography forces them into narrow channels, and predators respond instantly. Large bears claim dominant positions. Younger ones adapt downstream. No conflict. No chaos. Systems like this don't need humans. Across Alaska, mountains generate weather. Rivers define movement. Ice reshapes valleys. Wildlife follows ancient logic. Human presence survives only by understanding where to stop. This is what makes Alaska different. Not beauty, not isolation, but boundaries that remain intact. This is a boundary that still holds. The land still decides the rules. Life adapts or leaves. This is the sheer truth behind Alaska. And once you see that line clearly, every place beyond it begins to make sense.